Now, your Chris 6 weather forecast.
Bobby took this out on Shoreline, and it was a soaker this morning, but things are starting to dry out a little bit now. Let's go ahead and take a look at your current conditions out there. And what we're going to see is a few lingering light rain showers, still mostly cloudy skies out there, but these will begin to thin on out as the evening progresses. But boy, it left its mark. Now, just in the last, since midnight, 1 to 1.5 inches of rain, mainly along the coastal zones. In fact, I got about 1.7 inches there on the east side of town, but most of this was confined to the coastal areas, and that's going to be thin out a little bit. You notice that a little over ½ inch at the airport, so it was a little bit less as you go further inland. Only 64 your high today, morning low of 61. But boy, we do have our share of watches, warnings, and advisories. I showed you this earlier. Still got that gale warning until 8 p.m. in our northern coastal waters, small craft advisories elsewhere. So what about the lakes? Any benefit? Yeah, here's what we had. Not much benefit from this big rain because of where the rain fell. We'll talk about this a lot more at 6 p.m., but we're still losing ground here, and we'll give you more attention on that because of where the rain fell. More towards the coastline, not back up in our watershed. Temperatures are still quite cool over the Edwards Plateau and Permian Basin, deep into the 50s. It's warmed into the 60s in most other locations, including around here, and that's what you're looking at, basically lower 60s across the board, middle 60s along the immediate coastline. But overnight tonight, we do drop into the upper 50s, rain coming to an end, winds getting a little bit lighter, and then you're going to see a little bit of cooler air in here. But by tomorrow, guess what? The sun comes out, and we're back into the lower 70s. It's going to feel pretty good out there. In fact, if you're heading out to the coastal waters tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon, still windy out there with a high in the upper 60s, water temperature sitting at 64 degrees, that north wind at 15 to 25 knots. That's going to make for choppy to occasionally rough bays and 5 to 9 foot seas. Really hadn't settled down much yet. So we're looking at a low rip current risk, but small craft should be exercising caution tomorrow. Here's the upper level disturbance that brought us all that rain the last day or so. Notice how it lifts on off. High pressure builds in behind it, gives us several very nice days coming up here. But towards the end of that 7-day period, this disturbance starts to make a mark here, and it looks like we're going to get some cold air with that. That'll be Monday into Tuesday, but ahead of that, maybe a chance of rain on Monday. That's a week away. A lot of things can change. One thing that isn't going to change, fairly light winds out of the north and northeast. And our rainfall totals are going to be very modest tonight before they all clear out. Now, we're looking at this area of disturbed weather in the Caribbean. No impact here, even though it looks like a high chance of becoming a tropical cyclone by this weekend. Around here, though, mostly cloudy. Windy tonight, settling down after midnight, but 57 your overnight low. And then the next 7 days, well, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything looking nicer than this. Highs in the 70s to near 80 degrees, and then lows in the 50s and 60s, those isolated showers and storms on Monday.